making some like big political scenes.
Yeah. Like a presidential address.
First or something, you can ask.
Oh, gotcha. I wish I had one of them for you.
We're just going to kind of go around the room with the questions, so we're going to start right here.
Okay, so I'm from Divergent faction, and we were wondering for Veronica, what was it like to put on the Dauntless costume and head to set and to act like a person who you created?
Well, I have never, not for a second, had any ambitions to be an actress. So for me, it was terrifying actually, because Theo, our wonderful director, was like, okay, I need you to burst through this door and be breathless but excited. And I was like, you want me to do two things at the same time? Anyway, it took a few takes, a few too many. But it was really exciting and fun to be, I mean, how often do you get to experience that? Like, never. Well, for these guys, I mean, several times at least, but for me, never. So it was wonderful. And the tattoo was really sweet. It was like on my throat, which was, I don't know, it was really special for me. That's all.
She killed it.
Not true at all.
Totally true, absolutely.
This is for Veronica as well. In terms of the screenplay, what role did you have in the screenplay, and were there any scenes that you said, these really should be in the movie, they're integral scenes?
Not really. I similarly don't have any ambitions to be a screenwriter either. So I kind of left it to the people who know what they're doing. But I guess I was open to being like a consultant. So they'd ask me about the world and I'd tell them, whatever they need to know. But other than that, I mean, I think it's important to just trust the people who you decide to work with and to kind of let go a little bit, because otherwise you'll go crazy. So I think they did a wonderful job, which is very good. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question is for anyone, what's the most divergent thing any of you have ever done? Very broad.
You mean like diverging from the mainstream?
Yeah.
I killed someone.
Ansel, I feel like you rock climb. That's pretty divergent. Or I guess that's
Yeah, it's like kind of dauntless. Yeah, I mean, I rock climb a lot. Theo boxes. I guess maybe sometimes we're a little dauntless. But I think actually I just came up with something kind of clever. I think the most divergent thing that we do, especially us three, is the actors, because if you're going along Divergent, which is meaning every faction, as actors we have to be different people all the time, play different roles that are sometimes maybe more dauntless, sometimes maybe more erudite. So I guess I never really think of it that way when I'm making it. When I'm doing a different movie, I'm thinking, which faction would this go? But we're pretty divergent as actors.
Well said.
That's damn well said. Some guy just came up with that.
My question's for Shailene. You've done a couple of young adult book to film adaptations at this point, so you know how devoted the fan bases can be. What is it about Triss as a character do you think that makes her such a powerful role model for the young fans?
I mean, in my opinion, I think Triss, is this incredibly loud for you guys? Because in my ear it's like, whoa. Does it sound normal? Okay. What I should speak for myself, but so what I found really beautiful and unique about Triss that sort of set her apart from other young adult heroines, quote unquote, is that the struggle between being selfless and compassionate and empathetic and being brave and courageous and going out into the world with a mission and accomplishing a goal was really beautiful. And I think that it's something to look up to, because there are so many things right now in the world that do need to sort of have some light shed on them. And to have somebody in an action film, which does have artistic license and is in a movie about entertainment, at the end of the day, there's a lot of powerful messages that come from being an empowered woman. And that was one thing that when I read the book, I really responded to, is there are a lot of empowered females in films. But I feel like Triss isn't badass by nature, you know, she wasn't born knowing how to do really, knowing how to survive in intense situations. She had to build her strength, and she had to dig deep for her bravery and her courage, and I think that that's something that we could all sort of live up to or look up to. That probably made no sense.
I think we should clap after each question.
How much training was involved in the fight scenes, and did you do any of your own stunts?
I did all my stunts and Theo's stunts.
Yeah. Yes, there was quite a lot. We all got there before, about a month before shooting, and we kind of got stuck in and learned this new style of fighting, which they came up with, because the idea was to have something reminiscent of what we know today, but have it to be a bit different, because obviously it's in the future. We had at one point I kind of played General 4 in a way, because we had a couple of days where everyone came in and I kind of took them on a dauntless class, which was kind of funny.
He made me do 20 push-ups in front of 50 strangers because I laughed at him.
Michelle was like, "What are you serious?" But yeah, that was a big part of it, kind of, because I guess that's how dauntless are defined. They're kind of, in a way, their physicality, that's kind of, now you clap.
Let's start that.
Okay. Did you guys, this is kind of a question for all of you, did you all have any particular issues with translating certain scenes from the book to the movie? Like, was there any particularly difficult scenes that didn't translate well, or ones that you wanted to get across?
No. I mean, yes. Definitely. I feel like there is, the book has so many different things happening. Triss, it starts off with Triss switching factions, and then there's the storyline between four, and then there's the storyline between her and Janine, and then there's her becoming dauntless, and is she gonna survive or not survive, and then, sort of breaks out in war. So there's so many things that are happening that to translate that to the screen was, I think, a bit difficult for the screenwriters. And the script was sort of evolving as we were filming. So we had a baseline script, and we had most of the scenes, but there were often times where Theo and I, with the director the night before, the morning of, would be like, how do we bring more truth to the situation? How do we bring it back to the book, relate it back to the original storyline, but also lend the movie its own creative process, because they are two separate things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something we were constantly working on.
And I think we realized that, there are some things you have to lose in the context of making a movie. And then sometimes in scenes there would be particular lines from the book, which was a poignant line, and as much as we could, we tried to keep them in, but sometimes, for whatever reason, inevitably, because it's a different medium, we found that it needed to be communicated a different way, so that was one of the lessons we learned as well.
Or sometimes we look at a scene and we'd be like, this scene isn't working, and then we go back to the book.
That's true, yeah.
And sort of translate that scene verbatim.
Actually, we did that quite a lot, didn't we? We'd look at if we were looking at a scene and thinking there's a section of it which feels like it's not real or it doesn't work, then we would go back to the book and we'd look at the very scene.
I was kind of glad when they took some of the dialogue, actually, because when I heard the audiobook for the first time, I remember hearing some of the lines out loud, and I was like, maybe not what someone would say. So to me, it was like, oh, good, we can just enjoy the sense of what was being said instead of the word for word translation of what was being said. I mean, that's way more important to me and has been throughout this whole process. Not seeing the book scene for scene, word for word, character for character replicated on the screen, but to have the general thrust of the narrative and the characters remain very close to how they were. And I think that was pretty much achieved, which is a good thing. But one thing I thought was probably a challenge, I didn't do it, so I don't know, was the choosing ceremony must have been hard, because that scene is entirely in Triss's mind, and it's a huge struggle, but when I saw it, good job, Shay.
Thanks, dude. Fun tip about, or thing about that scene is the first dude who goes up and cuts his name is Neil Berger, our director's son. How sweet is that?
And his daughter is in your fearsome.
And the daughter's the little girl who the dog tries to attack in the beginning of the movie.
Neil plugging his family in.
That guy, I tell you.
We're not gonna be the second movie.
For Veronica, were any scenes from Divergent based off of your time in history?
Sorry, I'm just imagining how that could be. Not really, no. I mean, I think I'm someone who's familiar with like fairly intense environments and competitive ones. But other than that, I mean, that's really the only thing. And I mean, to say that with the caveat that like, you know, Barrington High School where I went to school and then Northwestern, no one was trying to like punch me or stab me. So it's not like that intense. But I'm just saying, you know, feeling like that sort of pressurized and contained thing is sort of what translated to the book well. But other than that, I mean, it's just a huge leap of imagination, I guess.
This is for Shailene and Theo. How did you feel? What is your opinion on fighting for sport versus fighting for self-defense?
As in morally, do I agree with it?
I guess that and just, like if you were in that type of situation, would you ever fight
Would you
for
be a
sport?
fighter or flighter?
I'm a big boxing fan, so I say yes, I do. I like the kind of, there's strategy and there's art to fighting. I mean, there's obviously that side of it which seems brutal and kind of, inhumane in a way, but it is also a sport and there's quite a lot of strategy behind it, so yeah, I do. I'm a fan.
I also think that there's something really about physical exertion, especially in the form of fighting, that humans get to release anger, whether it be with another human being or on like a boxing bag or whatever it is. And that's often an emotion that I feel we don't release enough, and so we end up building it up, and I think a lot of tension, a lot of extra stress, and a lot of negative situations come from pent-up anger. And so as a sport, I think that there is a certain art and a certain emotional release that doesn't get accessed very often that is important. And I also think that if your life is leaving the sports conversation, but if your life depends on whether you're going to fight back or whether you're going to run away, I think that most of us on this table, I think all of us actually would choose like to fight, to like fight to survive. And I know you would. You would run, but if you were in a fight or flight situation, you would put up a good fight.
Maybe.
You're tough, Veronica.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm tall. I could just.
That'll work in your advantage.
I'll totally be fine.
How was it premiering Divergent last night in the home of Divergent? Like, was the fan energy any different?
Yeah, it felt gratifying to kind of be back. It was quite a long journey, and
Sort of full circle.
we came here on the 13th of March, so that's almost a year from when we started the film. So yeah, it felt good, and it felt, as we said lots of times, it feels really gratifying to be involved in something that people are already invested in and already love. People ask whether there's a pressure there, but I think we've done our job now, and we're proud of it, and I hope people will relate to it, and we're just, excited to be in a place where people are fucking up with it. In terms of watching the movie, really.
I mean, it's also cool because, I remember a bunch of you guys coming to set as fans, and I think as the movie went on, and as you guys have obviously made these fan pages that have had huge followings, and now you're here actually interviewing us. So, it's like, as the movie evolved, and now, I remember my first car ride coming here, and, my second movie ever, and then my car ride coming here yesterday, there were billboards from Divergent everywhere. So the fan base and, the movie have grown together, and, Chicago, I feel like, it's kind of like the hub of it, because, that's where the first set stalking fans were.
To me, it's in a peculiar way, like, coming here, people feel a little less distant or removed from me somehow. So when I walk around signing things or talk to people or get interviewed or whatever, it's like, oh, friends! Let's chat! So the vibe is it's really great. I mean, I love it here. I'm like a Midwest enthusiast and a big Chicago fan. So I was like, I live here on purpose.
Hi, my name is Kristen Dodger. I'm a writer with the Chicago Maroon at the University of Chicago. I'm curious, Ms. Roth, if you had any say in the decision to shoot on the University of Chicago's campus, especially because you're a Northwestern alum and also we are considered rivals.
We're not buddies.
Not so much. And then for anyone else, if you spent time on set on the University of Chicago's campus, can you speak to that experience?
Yeah, you guys moved through there. It's
Is
the
it the
library.
Erudite?
Yeah, Erudite Library.
Okay, that library is like Fort Knox. It's so badass. Apparently you have some like crazy system, right?
It's an underground robot that goes and fetches your books.
Yeah, it's like very Harry Potter, you guys. It's very Harry Potter.
Go and check it out. I mean, no, I won't. I'm sticking to the Vulcan library.
No, it's really neat. You go in and you type in a little code apparently, and then it goes.
Sweet.
And I like to picture little like or not gremlins, what are those Harry Potter goblins?
House elves.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Come on, I picture them in little like train cars floating.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, except that they didn't let us have the air conditioning on, so then it was like a big glass bubble that was really hot. So, no, not you, Chicago. They probably would have been fine with us using their air conditioning, but the movie people, with the microphone said you couldn't have the air conditioning on, so we all were sweating all day. But it was fun anyway, and now it looks beautiful. So.
Yeah. To answer your original question, I didn't have any say in that, but I was pretty excited that they were going to do it, and I really wanted to go to set that day, but it was for some reason conflicting with my schedule. I was like, no! Chicago schools.
So this is for anybody. If you could play any character besides the character that you played for the film, who would you play and why?
Dumbledore, I think.
You mean in Divergent? Or?
Yeah, in Divergent.
Oh. That's what I thought, and then I was like, oh wait, no, it's Divergent.
I would play Erudite Extra number 2.
I think it'd be fun to play a Dauntless character, just because, I didn't get to do any Dauntless training, and I didn't get to do that much fighting or any of that stuff, so it would have been fun to play someone in Dauntless and get to do some fighting, some training and stuff.
I would choose Peter, because he's such a smart ass.
Maybe Marcus. He's he's kind of a complex and he's essentially a flawed person, but then you kind of switch between hating him and then kind of empathizing towards his kind of whatever he's trying to achieve, kind of politically.
Actually, I would choose, she's not in the movie, but I would choose Lynn, because she's like punk and cool and like strong and that's another smart ass. I love her in the book. I miss Marlene in there.
I know.
Maybe it'll be in the second one.
Hello, good morning. Hello from Tristan4.com. First and foremost, congratulations on an epic film. And the question I have is, which faction would you least want to join and why?
Abnegation. Because I don't know, it's kind of, it's quite stifling, the atmosphere. I think I would struggle with it. I'd probably make inappropriate comments constantly. Yeah, I'd probably be factionless within a couple of years.
A couple of days, maybe hours.
Yeah. They're like, David, oh Jesus.
I would choose Erudite because their outfits look so uncomfortable. And because I just, that like sterile sort of left brain environment does not suit my lifestyle.
I don't think I'd want to be part of Candor. I feel like everyone there are kind of dicks. I don't know if I could like be everyone being too honest all the time. Sometimes I want someone just to be
You're
nice.
pretty honest though.
Yeah, but like I'm not, after a while, sometimes like I like to like, but I feel like, look, I think about Peter, and like, even like Christina a little bit in the beginning has to like learn to like shut her mouth a little bit, I feel like that many personalities that like think that they can say everything that comes to their mind can get annoying.
Like, tell me some sweet lies, please. For me, don't listen because I would die. Just, really, I would die. I would rather live than die, so no, don't listen to me. I mean, practically speaking.
I had a question on behalf of the readers of the Loyola Phoenix. They wanted to know what y'all enjoyed doing during your downtime when you were shooting there in Chicago. Like, what Chicago activities or places did y'all enjoy?
You guys should take this because I really get to see Chicago.
We saw some Bulls games.
I went to a Blackhawks game. I didn't get to go to the Bulls game.
Shit!
And I'm the biggest basketball fan here.
Yeah, it's true.
But the Blackhawks.
But we did the Blackhawks. We saw, with the Stanley Cup.
We got to see the Rolling Stones.
Oh shit! Yeah, we got to see the Rolling Stones.
I did.
Twice.
And Erica too.
And Erica too. Yeah.
That was great.
And nearly James Blake.
And almost Fleetwood Mac, but that didn't happen either.
I went to the Museum and Art Institute. That was amazing. Really, it's cool seeing those. Like, yeah, it's good.
Me and Christian kind of woke up. Well, I think it was like one of towards the end, and we were feeling worse for wear, should we say, for the night before. And we wandered, the two of us, and it started raining, and but we could really, because we had not exactly a great mental state, we carried on walking. We ended up being at the museum and then the aquarium. It's like two dudes just walking around. They're fishmen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then we took the boat back. It was like a weird day.
A little like man's daydreaming. That happened.
Yeah.
To the old hands.
It was kind of fun because the aquarium was kind of cool.
Shailene, we go to the farmer's market sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They have a good farmer's market.
Yeah, Green City. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay. Question for sort of all of you. When you, like, during production or even now, was there a sense of pressure sort of playing these characters and knowing you're sort of answerable to the fans of the books?
No. I mean, I feel like the second that you try and, if I were to try and, create Trish the way that you pictured her, the way he imagined her, the way that she imagined her, it would become a clustered mess of a human. And so I think for me it was really about just acknowledging my own intuition as far as who I thought she was. And that was the only way that made sense to me, to bring full authenticity to the character and be 100% truthful instead of trying to mentalize or think about it. You don't ever want to overthink because then it seems like a preconceived character versus somebody who could actually exist in real life.
Yeah, you have to make your own choices, because that's your job essentially. You have to go with your instincts and play the character how you think it should be played by you.
You guys did a lot of green screen work. What was it like seeing the effects kind of filled in, because they were amazing, and the Chicago that they designed was amazing. So when you first saw that, what was it like to see that filled in?
Pretty epic. I mean, that mirror scene in the beginning, that was something that special effects worked on for like 2 years, a year prior to filming and then this entire year after filming. And when we actually, it was the last 4 days of the film, so it was just me in a room the size of a football field, of green walls and green stadium lighting. It felt like we were rock stars on stage, and then a green floor. And we were there for 4 days, and you start to lose your mind after a few hours of just being surrounded by green. And so to see it come to fruition was really neat, and I think they did a really good job. I mean, we had to film every single angle, so all of those different Tristas we actually had to film. And it was very mathematical the way they taped it out on the floor. And so it's very interesting to sort of see the process behind green screen, behind CGI, because it's very different from working with another actor. it's almost like you have to be a child again and use your imagination, because when you're with an actor, you're simply reacting. But when you're by yourself with a green screen, you have to imagine a scenario, and you have to really put yourself in that place and not be afraid to make a fool of yourself because everyone's looking at you in this bare ass room doing really bizarre things.
She was first, I don't know.
No, that's she already had it.
Oh, okay, well, he said I was school with newspaper, Spanish newspaper, so as you know, you are at times all over the world now. But my question is for Veronica. What do you think that is going to be the most exciting part of being from Chicago and portraying Chicago? You as a Chicagoan, now you're one of the kind of idols or milestones from the city, so you're kind of the ambassador from Chicago?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they voted for someone to represent them, it wouldn't be me. But I mean, I love it here. And when I first saw the movie, the first big shot of the Sears Tower it's the Sears Tower, yes. Anyone? Okay. When they first showed it, I just started to get emotional because this is my home, and I mean, certainly being on set and seeing how many new jobs were created in this area, and just how much pride they were all taking in their work. I mean, I'm getting like a little, it was really wonderful. So I love it here, and I'm so glad that they shot it here. I know it's hard to shoot things here, so it might not continue, but it's really wonderful to see the city as the city. You know, because we've had movies shot here before, but they were never set in Chicago. So to see it featured and all of its like beautiful landmarks featured is just
It's like the new Ferris Bueller, really. Chicago.
Chicago. It's me. I'm the new Ferris Bueller. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It feels so good.
Did you guys have any specific favorite parts of the movie, like favorite scenes or things that you just love seeing brought to life?
I love the...
When you should take a shirt off.
Definitely not. I love the zip line. I thought that was so cool with that piece of music we were talking about last night. You know, it was just really impressive and yeah, good work.
I like the Ferris wheel. I thought that's, you know, such an epic scene in the book, and then to actually film it was sort of like a dream in a way. I mean, it's just so weird that we climbed the Navy Pier Ferris wheel for 12 hours. It just was one opportunity, you know. But I think that the way that they covered it, I thought it looked beautiful.
Yeah, it did look beautiful.
Just sort of nostalgic, like good moments.
I like the scene where when they're on their way to the zip line. I guess that whole little section of the movie's awesome. When they're having the fake paintball fight, but not with paintballs, things that really hurt, like because it's the first time you see Four like kick Eric's ass, and you hate Eric so much to the point, and you finally see him like get taken down a little bit, and like Four like shoots him a bunch of times, and you're like, yeah. That's
Sorry. Those are good examples. I'm trying to think of a different one. For me, I mean, the big emotional scenes are important. And since they were so well acted, it's very good. I also love the beer landscapes. Especially forest beers. Especially when the box is closing.
That was hilarious.
It was a really good line, I think. It's like, take your time, I'm just speed rush here. Yeah, it was great.
Go ahead.
My question is for Theo. I'm from Divergent.com. Being from the UK, how was it with using an American accent? Was it easy, or was it hard trying to attain that?
What I found with kind of accents generally is that it's all about the work. You can't wing it to make it feel as genuine. You know, you do have to do the work. And so I'd stay in accent when I was on set really, and it kind of